Hi, everyone. So my name is Loretta, and I'm the founder and owner of Passion and Growth, and these are two of my good girlfriends.
Hi, my name is Bianca.
Hey, I'm Caroline.
So they have decided to come on board with me and do a segment on Sundays called Self-Love Sunday. We came up with this mainly because every time we hang out, we always talk about a lot of just kind of like deep stuff and like personal things that I don't know that besides a couple other people in my life, I really talked about with. And so we found that was like a really interesting connection that we all had between us. And it goes very much in line with my business and trying to be aware of like self-love, self-care. And so everything we talked about just seemed perfect for a segment like this. So this is our very first one. So as you can tell, we're in my living room. My dog might come in at times and say, hey. We are shooting this on my iPhone, so we're all kind of squished in here, but we're going to make it work, and this is real life. So I think we're going to start off, since it's getting near the holidays, it's November, we kind of talked briefly last time we hung out about hanging out with certain people and what it means to say no, I think sometimes to certain relationships, whether that be family, friends. I know personally in my life, like I've kind of had to find those boundaries with family, especially around this time of the year, because I know that hanging out with certain people would be detrimental to my mental health. And it's taken me a very long time to get there, but I kind of wanted to bring these girls in and we can all kind of talk about this and like what relationships mean to us and maybe experiences that we've had having to set those boundaries with people, friends, strangers, work people, anybody really. So, thoughts?
Yeah. This is a really good topic because you don't really think about it until you're in a relationship, whether it be a friendship, something with your family, or even a significant other, where you start to really doubt yourself. You start to not.
Sorry, we're also drinking wine. This is very casual.
I was gonna wait until somebody else.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, we're drinking wine while we're doing this, so no, this is totally appropriate. This is what we do.
This is literally what we do.
Nah, we'll just roll with it too.
Okay. We're just doing it.
We're just doing it.
I don't know. I really think it's a good topic because around this time you want to be with family, but there is family that is, like you said, detrimental to your mental health. There are people that I had to separate myself at one time or another because I would just feel really bad around them. Like when I was in college, my sense of humor was a little bit different, but a little bit the same. I would make like self-depreciating jokes, and everybody does that once in a while, right? But when other people do it like to you because they feel comfortable that you've already done it to yourself, you kind of open that door. That would make me really feel really bad about myself. So it came to a point where I told my friend, who I thought was my friend, I was like, hey, please don't do that anymore. Mm-hmm. She kept doing it, and I was like, we can't be friends anymore.
It's a really good point, because I don't know that I've thought about it in that manner, but it's so true, because I know, like, in my past too, like which this will definitely get into this further in more discussions, but I struggled a lot with body image and my relationship with food and things like that. And so I would always make jokes. Like you could always, well, I'm still kind of this way sometimes, but like you can always kind of make me clean a plate. Right. I love food. I just love it. Yeah. I have a much healthier relationship now, but back when I didn't, I would definitely always make jokes about like, how much I ate, or if you have leftovers, like I'll eat them, or this and that, like just kind of like covered up my insecurities about it. Right. But then like if someone else said it, I would be like,
or
what are you saying?
Like, tag on to it.
Yeah, I'm like, it's okay for me to say it, but not you. Which in reality, like, no, it was not okay for me to ever say it about myself in the first place. Right. But I'm glad you brought that up. That's very interesting.
Yeah, because you're opening up that door, and it's kind of it is in a way giving other people permission, but it's also not, because like if you're a good person, you wouldn't make fun of someone else. Yeah. But at the same time, who hasn't made fun of someone else at one point or another?
Especially when you're young.
Yeah.
College days.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's college days are a different time, different person back then.
Yeah. I think it's also interesting to bring up food, because obviously with the holidays, like food is a big thing. Right. Like I feel like that's like the center of what my family and probably a lot of families do is like, what are we gonna do? Obviously Thanksgiving is like all food. Right. Christmas is a lot of food. And it's like coming from like my family, like it was really hard for me to realize that a lot of it, I'm not gonna say like the whole entire relationship with like my parents or whoever it may be is toxic, but like a lot of parts of it are. And like it was really hard for me to realize the toxicity just because like number one, you don't want to think it is that way. And then your family like normalizes everything, right? So like, for example, the food, like I've noticed recently, maybe within the last like couple years or so, like my family has like a bad relationship with food. Like both my parents for sure go to food for like comfort, like stress. Like anytime, well, so here's an example. So when I was little, whenever I'd get in trouble, my dad would like yell at me or whatever, and then for his like apology, he would always bring me some kind of food, like my favorite dessert, cheesecake or whatever it was. He would always bring food. And so like growing up, that's taught me to be like, shit, whenever something's going wrong, I gotta eat. And like that's not good. And I'm gonna eat something that's like, I gotta eat cheesecake or like an enchilada or whatever, taco, because that's what he would bring, you know? So it's like created this unhealthy relationship. Not that it was ever like an extreme thing, but it was just like that relationship is not like ideal. And so like going back to the holidays and like of course I'm gonna be around my family and like with a lot of food and I can see it and it's just like like it's okay for like a day, but longer than that it's just like I can feel myself just like I'm not like you're around other people that are influencing the way that they think, like, you know, however they think about food, it like rubs off on you, and you're just like, like I don't really want to be around this.
I think a lot of the big differences too is like now, like we realize these kinds of things, but you know, just like you said, when you're younger in your college days, or even, you know, so I'm 30 now, but up until like I was probably 28, like I didn't realize these things about myself. I didn't realize like kind of the same thing that you go home when you have all these triggers and you know, you get used to it because you grow up in a whole lifestyle that's like that, and these are your family, and like you think that, you know, of course, like no one's trying to do any harm in most situations and cases, but there are things that happen that can be detrimental to you without realizing it until you really put this work kind of in yourself to realize that, oh, like, you know, these are triggers and I have to be careful and watch myself when I go home because I could slip back into that same kind of mentality.
Exactly. And it's so you mentioned that no one's trying to do harm, and that's exactly true. Like the things that they do, they think that it's making it better, but it's literally just a Band-Aid on top. Like they're not going back and actually doing their work, like you said. Like it's, you know, a lot more effort to actually do that. So instead of that, they just put a Band-Aid on top and they're like, well, this makes it better. But like in reality, you're just setting yourself back even further.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I'm like thinking about it because then also it's like because for them it's probably they don't think it's like you're saying they don't think it's bad, but that's generations of just the same behavior over and over again. And how do you fix that? You know? I think I don't even know.
And that's so true that it is like generational. It's you know, because I look at that's kind of how me and my dad's relationship was as well. It's we kind of came together like always around like kind of food, and like we would even like sneak food, and like we'd both be at the middle of the night and he'd be like, you want a milkshake? And I'd be like, heck yeah. And like he even had a name for it. Like he called it eating for recreation. Like we knew that we weren't hungry, but like we were eating just for recreation. And like at like for the longest time it was a term of like endearment, I felt like. And it's only now that like I look back on it and be like, that probably wasn't like the healthiest thing.
Like
but
every once in a while that is fun. Because it's like something that you and your dad share. Like every once in a while that is fun, but like when it's
was
every
all
night,
the time.
then it's just
all
like,
the time.
oh, like Dad, we gotta get better.
And it just like continued, and like, you know, he like binge ate, and so I binge ate. I mean, it's this whole generational thing, and like I can see it like throughout my family. It's the same way. But yeah, you're right. It's like when does it stop? And like no, he was not trying to cause harm at all, but without realizing it. You know, then on the flip side, you have my mom who's like, clean your plate. And so it's like you merge these things and you grow up like that. And then all of a sudden you have these struggles with food and you don't even know like hardly where it began because you've just had it your whole life. But then how do you stop it? You know, like it's a really, really, really hard struggle that.
Because at that point you formed habits. You have to learn how to break those habits.
I feel like portion size is like a weird thing because you have to totally relearn. And like you're saying, like I feel like when we were younger, that was a huge thing for our parents to always be like, you have to finish your plate, clean your plate, like eat everything, you know?
Well, they came like I think Great Depression, like their parents and stuff, where it's like
nothing wasted. Totally.
But I mean, they also put money under a mattress and like called that a bank. So it's we kept certain habits, but like have ditched others. So. I think it's just people like to eat. I get it. Food tastes good.
Yeah,
So.
totally. It really does.
No, for sure. But that's the thing is like if you have healthy habits most of the time, then you come to the holidays and you're like, all right, one day I'm gonna enjoy everything, whatever I want, whatever if I want.
And that's totally healthy.
Yeah.
Right.
Here, I told you the dog might make an appearance. Here she is. All right, this is Sadie.
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
Thank you.
She knocked over a glass of water. At least it was the water, not the wine.
Yeah.
Okay, on this note, I think this is the perfect way to end this segment. So this is the first installation of many. So you guys stay tuned and we'll continue to have a lot of conversations like this.
Yeah.
And as you can tell, we're very much go with the flow. Like we kind of started talking about one thing and we've segued into other things. And this is kind of exactly what it's going to be. It's not super strict. It's not, you know, we kind of just start with one thing and then this is where the conversation takes us. So you guys stay tuned and we'll be sure to post more every week. Thank you so much. Bye.